Transformation in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to Tarot Gazing. If you're new here, welcome. So glad you're here. If you're a returning gazer, hi, guys. Hope you're doing all right. A lot has been going on. A lot has been going on. And we all know it. We all feel it. And we're going to take a moment, right? This Leo season is coming in with a roar. And I don't think any of us are getting away from it without roaring ourselves in some respect, right? I feel like we're going back into like unfinished business, things that maybe we had worked on previously but needed to be re-examined, whether those be aspects of ourselves, projects, relationships, work, right? Contracts, whatever that might be for you. Could be, you needn't click just one, right? In this kind of energy. For me personally, it's the OM and a bunch of other things, projects, work projects, but again, other things, like we go back and we re-examine things. So I've pulled the OM deck out for us to start this reading. Really been channeling them a lot. They've been talking to me. Let's see what they have to say to you. Oh, the ancestors, spirits, guides. What message do you have for our lovely gazers today? Phagos, the beach. Life is a beach. We'd probably all like to be at the beach right about now, especially on these hot, hot days. Phagos. This is the letter P. Let's see here. IOPH. Totems, keys, ancient texts or spell books, wow, snake deities and guides, and the great goddess in all her forms, archangels, Merlin, Thoth, ascended masters, ancient ancestors, class, chieftain. Wow, at 222. Guys, this is going to be good. This is going to dive deep. Got your coffee? Got you ready? Keywords: ancient knowledge, teachings, generations, books, texts, and scrolls, guidance from the past, wisdom, ancestors, and lineages. I feel like I'm going to cry right now. The Phagos speech is associated with the ancient wisdom keepers, the teachings from the past that are stored in old objects, special power places upon the earth, and writings. This tree offers guidance from the past and can support new insight and sustenance. Beech is the mother of the woods and the queen to the king oak. She provides grounding and a strong foundation for any area of life or study or research. It is interesting to note that the words for beech and book have the same origins. The OM for this tree is Phagos, and the letters are IO and PH. This OM is represented by the hook. That's the OM right there. Can you see it? We'll talk more about these in just a second. First, let's get the reading, and then we'll read more cards, and we'll come back to this at the end and get the prayer at the end, right? When you receive Phago Beech in a reading, you are asked to study and to do research or gather more information. You might be drawn particularly to ancient information and seek guidance from the ancient past. You might seek lost wisdom or guidance and information from your elders. Perhaps you feel drawn to research your own lineage or travel to distant lands and sacred sites and countries that were home to your ancestors. You may feel drawn to write your own book and share your knowledge. Wow. I know what I'm up to. What are you guys up to? This is intense. I hope you share it. I hope you do when you're ready. The beach is full of ancient mysteries of the British Isles. When this card appears in your reading, you may fulfill a desire to visit a place, connect with your past. You may have stories about your ancestors or lineages to share. You may receive information when handling old objects. If so, spontaneous stories and characters may come into your consciousness, which you feel compelled to write down and share. See? Perhaps it is time to go back to school and do some serious research and study. What have you always wanted to learn about? When you get this card, you may want to commit to a plan. This can either be study on your own, classes, or full program. This tree also offers guidance and offers you grounding. It is able to create the space sacred for you. Call in the energies of beach and ask for the guidance and wisdom. The information you need may come from a wise person, a book, a dream, or your intuition. If you are beginning a project, this tree offers you strong foundations and stability. You may be involved with the project for a full year and have to be diligent in bringing it to completion. Beach will help you stay on your task. Thank you. We'll just put this right here and we'll read the prayer. Oh, at the end, wow, the ancient wisdom, the ancient texts. What are we doing here? What is tarot? What is oracle guidance? What is diving into the occult, right? The metaphysics. That is examining the ancient past, that is examining ourselves through ancient symbolism, right? And even symbols that have traveled into modernity and maybe changed a bit or adapted, right? To better suit what's needed for here. We have a different language. So oftentimes when we're looking at things like this, we're reading, cryptic occult symbolism. What we're actually doing is translating ancient vocabulary into modern vocabulary of maybe psychology, right? Maybe like understanding, maybe the metaphysics isn't metaphysics anymore. Maybe now it's true physics, true physics, whatever that is, and so there is this evolution of thought and like examining things on those terms. And it could be, again, things from the ancient past, or it could be things from our ancient past. Because again, go back to the beginning when we were talking about the retrogrades, right? And how these things have got a little bit left in them that need to be, cleared up, examined, looked through. Oh, the spirits are here. There's all these educational forces in this card and happening right now. And then we know that knowledge is power. We know that the more we know, the better we are, right? The more you know. And it's not just about having information. It's about turning and cultivating that was information into wisdom, and that wisdom into wise action, right? And so that's like the name of the game here, right? We know a lot. There's a ton of information we are being bombarded with day in and day out on all levels. What good does that information do us if we aren't taking the time to think about it? And if we aren't converting that information into knowledge and that knowledge into wisdom, right? The true alchemy of thought here, of Thoth here. Thank you, Spirit. All right, ancestor spirits. This one. Triumph. Oh man, do I love this. This is Cancer energy, Cancerian energy. It is like moving full force, right? It is the victory. And again, triumph isn't just victory. Triumph is like winning over something. It's being truly challenged and coming out in the end victorious, right? And having that triumphant, right? It feels like there's a grandeur about it. There's a pride, and not like in a negative, like arrogant kind of a way, a proud, you did this, you've accomplished this, you've seen something, you've gotten this far. Your head and your heart are on the same page. Your emotional self is leading the way, and your head is giving it the directions, right? And this is victorious. Absolutely it is. And there is movement. If you've been stuck, movement is here. Maybe you're going someplace else. Maybe you're getting in the car and you're going somewhere. And during that space, right, there's like this meditative space available to us when in motion, whether that be driving in our car, maybe on the subway, on a bus, on a boat, whatever it might be, that space of transience, right? The space of transience, that transient space is a sacred space. And it used to be a lot more available to us, but now, while we're on the train, hopefully not while we're driving our car, let's abstain from doing that, but we could still be diving into social media, have our heads on our phones, bombarded by advertisements, have news coming at us from all sides. I mean, you really can't get away from it nowadays. And it feels like there's something to just allowing yourself to be in that space. Maybe you're walking, maybe you're riding your bike, whatever it might be. Maybe you are sitting still at your window and watching the cars go by. Lending you their motion, lending you that active current, right? For you to activate this part of yourself, and things will happen. The freedom comes through this. And again, there's like this triumphant success. I'm hearing triumphant success. What are you succeeding in, Spirit? Emotional withdrawal in the reverse, and partnerships and alliances in the reverse. It says this is the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, and this is the Eight of Cups. Emotionally walking away, letting ourselves, you're not letting yourself walk away from maybe something that you haven't fully accomplished yet. Maybe it's the fact that you haven't fully accomplished it, right? Reached your successful victory that's propelling you and keeping you, propelling you there and keeping you emotionally stuck in it at the same time. You're not letting go of the fact that maybe you haven't found your partnerships yet. Maybe the partnerships, and I'm feeling like this isn't just your romantic partnerships, right? This is work in business. This is projects. This is the people that engage in things with you. Right? And maybe you've not had like a lot of success in those endeavors, but you're unable to retract yourself from it emotionally. And I have a feeling it's because you aren't done yet. You really aren't done yet. You just haven't gotten to that space. Maybe you're supposed to be, maybe you're supposed to be accomplishing more things on your own. Maybe the people that you've encountered have been lessons and not true partners. Have you learned a lot from them or from those experiences? Spirit, tell us more. What is it that kept us here? What is it that kept us? Subscribers, viewers. Oh, if you are enjoying this reading or you like this content, please participate in engagement with it, because it really helps. Like YouTube's a racket. It's a racket with a weird algorithm, and people get unsubscribed all the time from channels, like including my own, and it makes it really, really difficult to keep going. Let's just get honest about it. For huge channels, I've seen like mid-grade channels, we have a hard, maybe that's part of what this is like, maybe there's some other aspect or avenue that needs to be addressed, or maybe something needs to be changed in whatever it is you're doing that's coming out as, asking for that. If you like what's happening, participate in it, and that's not just here, but that's in like the greater sphere, because I think that would be something that would maybe help you along if you got that kind of encouragement, right? Those little bits of people like supporting you, or at least knowing that, the work, there's interest in what you're doing. Maybe you've got a product or something that you're trying to develop. Maybe you've got an idea that you're trying to share. Maybe you've got something going on and your family is like, well, what is this? And you keep like trying to go at it. And they're, just that little bit of encouragement would go a long way, because that you're still working on something that is going to be very successful. Something coming out about that, right? And again, that sacred space of transience. What is this, Spirit? Wow. So these two popped out, and this one came out like on its own, and this is the financial and material changes. Again, you get to choose. And I'm also feeling like there's this like kind of a grade, right? And again, like we, not giving up yet, having and not graduating yet, right? But we go through like we go through grades in school, right? First grade, second grade, all the way to whenever you graduate or you decide to venture elsewhere for your impromptu and practical educations. Take it how it resonates, right? We never stop learning, and that's important. I'm remembering a time when I met a Native American man. Out we were seeing a band play, and we were out on the patio smoking a cigarette, and he was telling me about how in their culture, the children are separated by the fingers of the hand, each finger being 5 years, right? So the infants through the 5-year-olds are the pinky, but then when they turn 5, they graduate and they become part of a different community of kids where they're the youngest and the oldest are like the 10-year-olds. And so there's like a guidance, right? There's like a peer raising as well. And they go through this process. And then when they become 10 years old, they go on to the next phase, which is the, 11 through 15. And again, they go from being the oldest to being the youngest to being the new ones again, and having to go through that process of initiation until they get to be the oldest in the group. And then they mature and they go on to the next step. And each of these groups is well suited to the needs of the kids in those groups and their character development, their childhood development, the things that they're learning, right? They're surrounded by peers. And that's how they gauge these grades per se. And so if we look at that as a metaphor for each aspect of maybe our lives, your endeavor, maybe it's a marriage, whatever it is, the relationships with those things and the materials, real practical materials, things that are happening in your everyday. So maybe you started and you didn't have a lot of know-how, you didn't have a lot of resources, you were surrounded by noobs who also didn't know, but then eventually you learned enough to get into the next page, right? To get into the next realm. You learned this, and again, take it how it resonates, but it's about like going into each of those spaces as having formerly been the most educated, the most mature, right, the most knowing, take it how it resonates, and then stepping into the new space where now you're back again in the beginner's seat. You're back again in the rung one, and moving along. And this is getting interesting too. I'll show you guys some of the work I've been doing a little bit, and why that's also very interesting. Look, the waiting game and the prosperity begins. This, like that, feeling like that offer isn't coming, feeling like that material change isn't coming. There's this, what's happening with our relationships here. And still being emotionally invested in it, but not necessarily having the input, the financial, this resources, what's available to you. You're maybe still waiting on that, and trying to maintain balance in that process. One more, Spirit. What can they do? What can they do? We'll get 2 more. What needs to be done during this, again, this waiting game of feeling like there's, maybe taking a time to get somewhere. Travel takes time. I heard travel takes time. Don't get out there and try to manipulate the situation, and also be aware of others who are trying to manipulate the situation. There's like this waiting game. It feels like the magician in the reverse doesn't have the resources, or maybe doesn't have the best intentions, that they're using their powers of manifestation. Maybe your powers of manifestation feel drained. Again, there has to be a way for this to balance out. Yeah, it's like this 2 ones, like here they are, 1-1, right? Here's your waiting game. You waiting on somebody who doesn't have the resources, who doesn't have the power, who doesn't really know how to do it, right? But wants to manipulate the situation. Like, don't take action. Ooh. How does this resolve? What happens next, Spirit? How does this resolve? Thank you, Spirit. So suffering in silence, and the 9 of Swords in the reverse. A lot of anxiety is relieved. Absolutely. And like that mental blockage, whatever. Again, like that's what I'm saying. Like if you dive into this, like how can I change this situation? How can I, manipulate the thing to get my result? Or if somebody else is doing that, what that does is it's just going to drain. It's just going to drain all of it out. It's going to cause more mental suffering, right? You're going to have to be doing all these mental gymnastics just to keep up with it, when it's saying like, let go of that. Watch the movement pass by, or take yourself and in a space of movement somewhere else, because that other action, refraining from participating, is going to relieve quite a bit of stress. And again, there's this idea of suffering in silence. You don't have to keep quiet about it. I think other people see what's happening. It's okay to express this. Say, I maybe, if someone needs to communicate with something with you, I'm taking a moment so that you're telling them this, so that you're not engaging or participating in things that might rob you of your peace and clarity. It's okay. And on the bottom, we get strength. What's that say? Power. And there's that Leo. Remember, we're all going to be roaring a little bit. This is a very mature person. It's a very mature stance. This is somebody who's been there, done that, gained their power, gained their trust in themselves. You went from the 7 to the 8. And again, that idea of fluctuation and graduation, moving on to the next steps here. The peaceful strength. Yes. Just want to get some clarifiers. Weird. I thought I was pulling out these cards, but I pulled out the crystal deck because they were next to each other. You know why? Because these aren't the cards I know. Okay, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. It doesn't want these. What would you like me to do? After tarot. I don't have most of my cards in here. Most of my cards are back at my desk. All right. Get the after tarot. Spirit wants that 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, there are a lot of synchronicities, a lot of things going on here. What happens after? What happens after collective regains their power? What happens after collective lets these things go by? What happens in the next? Spirit. It's like you can continue to hold on to this emotionally without all the disruption. That's just the confirmation, again, of the 9 of Swords in the reverse here. Like hold on to your emotional stability. You're not going to let anybody or any of this disrupt you. Look, she's focused on this one thing, right? When it's in the upright and this other thing is walking away, maybe it's going after her prize while she's sitting there focusing too much on the thing in the cup. It's able to, tear down the things that she's worked on. Her, I'm saying her because it's a feminine in the card here. But in the reverse, it's maintaining your power and your stance. You're not going to let this distract you. You will not be distracted. Wow. 5 of Swords, Queen of Swords in the reverse. Again, if there was somebody who saying things, doing things, being manipulative, taking manipulative action against you or your projects or whatever it is you're doing here. Ooh. Because there's going to be this victory. There's going to be, the winning of the argument, the winning of the battle. And he's holding the 3 swords. Okay. So again, do not participate in other people's manipulative actions that want to tie your mind up, because what's going to happen is by you stepping out of it, you're going to win and they're going to betray themselves, and it's going to show. That's what's coming through here. That person is not to be trusted. Okay. Ace of Cups in the reverse. Tell us something good, Spirit. We know that not participating is going to win. We know, again, that the partnerships and alliances that maybe we've had in the past aren't the best. Give us something good. What happens when we regain our power? What is this victory? What are the positives here? Page of Swords. Messages coming through. Seven of Wands in the reverse. Do not be defensive when these messages are coming through. Again, I feel like it's like quick communication. Maybe it's an invitation somewhere. Maybe it's, and again, you've been seen. This has been seen. Your work is worthy. Maybe there's like an openness now to communicate, where before maybe it was, you're kind of keeping things quiet. I feel like there's like a lot of movement. Like you're going to witness things. You're going to see things. Going to be very, very telling. Two came out, one fell down. Oh. Three fell down, so we're not going to read the backs of all of them, but it's okay. Am I focused on what I want most? Whatever it is that you're focused on is what's going to develop. Again, the Magician energy. Drawing your attention away to something else draws your attention away from your goals. What passion am I ready to pursue? Go get it. What passion are you ready to pursue? I don't think this is carnal. I think that you've got something that you've been working on that's got a little bit of dust left to clear up. Now is the time to do it. Again, this thing talked about taking a year, maybe a year to learn new things, maybe a year to go through the process. Maybe it's been a year that you've been working on it, or maybe you've been working on it for 6 months and it's like, keep going. You're halfway there. You've made it this far. Ooh. How does my body want me to move today? Movement, 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 movement. Getting there. How does your body want you to move? Listen and joyfully do. The joy of movement. Don't push yourself too far. But again, letting yourself feel the physicality of being. And I just feel like there's this movement happening here. All right. This is the one. This is the one that came out independently that I want to read the back of. It says, am I consistently showing up? Damn. Are you experiencing a mountain of fear right now? Are you stalling, freezing, or giving up? The juicy secret is that you are the boss of fear. You are unstoppable. But it's up to you to see. It's up to you to see that by taking action. Wow. Today, be brave and do it scared. Choose one fear and move through it. You are in need of a hero, so that is who you will become. Wow. Absolutely. Gosh, these are just reinforcing everything, all the messages that have already come through. We're going to read this last bit from Fago speech, oh, I didn't show you guys the thing. I'll show you that real fast. We don't want to forget. Okay, so okay, so Spirit says, read the thing and then show you the thing. So those of you who don't need to see it or don't worry about it, you can leave at the closing of the meeting or reading. Wow. I'm telling you, meeting up with people, be mindful. And those of you who care to stay, you're more than welcome to. All right. I am the Phagos beech tree. I am a book to you, and I encourage the learning of wisdom. You may be involved in a project or an endeavor that will take an entire year to complete. Thus, you will be working through a whole cycle. Wow. It may involve schooling or higher education with a specific goal or degree in mind. You may have an idea for a scholarly project or for writing a book. Whatever your project, it may take a great effort to complete. I encourage you to work hard and be diligent. I ask you not to give up. This is your soul work. I am your solid foundation and your resolve. Connect to me for strength and guidance. I am the voice of your ancestors, whose aspirations are your own dreams and intentions and desires. I am evolution dreaming through you. Wow. I am your lineages sharing their wisdom with you. Do not be discouraged. What is it that you require? State your needs and invite our help, for we are the ancient ones, and we are here to support you. Thank you, Spirit. All that about so many, the ancient wisdom, the being, not being alone, the taking some time, the movement, the triumph. Ooh, and again, the learning, right? It's all a learning process and the graduation from point A to point B. And then, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to show you guys this now, but thank you so much for those of you thank you. Thank you. Thanks for remembering to hit like and subscribe. And thank you for coming back. And for those of you who care, so the OM alphabet, which we read from today, this book is a divination book about the OM oracle. And these are the OM, the alphabet, right? So each letter is a line with dash marks going right, dash marks going left, dash marks going across, dash marks going diagonally. And I've already published a lot of stuff on my other channel and on my website about this. So this isn't, I'm not sharing anything too crazy. You know, there's a lot. I talked to AI for over 300 pages worth of information that now I'm breaking down and analyzing and comparing to what I've already done and what I need to do next. And then some of the information, because it's AI, don't trust the robot. I'm telling you guys this. It screwed up a bunch of stuff. And so I had to go back through and like fix the parts where it like misunderstood or misread it. It didn't make, like, what it was doing was wrong or incorrect. And I tried it its way, but it was so anyway, lo and behold, here is the OM unit circle. The OM unit circle. It is trigonometry, guys. Here are the letters, their degrees. Here they are with their tangent, cosine functions, all of this. Clearly marked them out and charted them according to this. And I know that might seem like you're like, what? A unit circle? What I've been doing is trying to figure out if this alphabet is actually ancient mathematics. And like I said, I've published a lot about this on my other channel. It's actually part of my book. There's a video called Light the Fuse. And I just wanted to present this to you guys. There is a lot more that is happening. But the fact that this translates this way, I mean, talk about the different sections. 5, right? OMs come in groups of 5, the Acme. So each one has, one going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then they start again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's like an amplitude that's happening with these, right? They do translate in the ways that I've been telling you they translate for years, or telling people. But what's really interesting is there is that graduation from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? These amplitudes. The ancient secret texts, examining them and finding new information. And then how do we turn that information into knowledge? And how do we turn that knowledge into wisdom? This changes a lot about how things were interpreted and whether or not they used the same vocabulary that as us is ridiculous, because of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. They had a different way and means of seeing things, a different vocabulary, a different association and understanding, but it didn't make what they were seeing different or false. It was just seeing it in a different way, in a different light, under a different context, which is exactly what we're doing when we look at tarot and we read these ancient symbols in terms of today. Some people might have said, the King of Swords in reverse, and we might call him a sociopath. You know what I mean? They might say, the ancient curses, generational curses, and we might say a narcissistic family structure. You know what I mean? So it's just a different language describing the same occurrences. And by looking at them like we do here, like we dare to do here, we develop ourselves as modern day humans using ancient understanding, which is derived from our DNA, the ancestors, the whole human experience. And this alphabet is definitely included in that. So not only is it a phonetic alphabet with, words, and a divinatory and 1,000 other things. I mean, how many things can you attribute to a couple of hash marks and like weird, simple lines? Like, it's incredible. And what we've been doing here by turning it into an actual mathematical component, right? We're able to actually not just assign these functions, but able to interpret words as waveforms. It gets intense. It gets intense, and we'll keep sharing more of that on the other channel. But I was just like, wow, Spirit is really talking today to us. This is what has been coming through the collective conscious to me. Was that a fuzzy? Was that a word? I don't know what that was. Did you see it? What has been coming through to you? And again, no matter how long you've been working on something, no matter how much you feel like you haven't been able to improve it or get to that next point, there is something about, sitting still and staying in the emotional, like not giving up on it, but at the same time, not letting the outside forces impede you or try to push you into a space where you're being manipulative to try to force something, because that's just going to add to the stress and lessen from the result. All right. Gosh, that was a lot today. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for remembering to hit like and subscribe. And thank you for following us on our journey on our other channel. If you're interested in that, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Transformation in 3, 2, 1.